Well, India at the World Economic Forum this year delivered a clear message. The country is no longer at Davos to sell potential. It is here to assert relevance. As the 5-day summit began under the theme, A Spirit of Dialogue, India featured prominently in conversations around global growth, trade recalibrations, technology and investment. More than 100 Indian CEOs are in Davos this year, alongside a large central and state government delegation. The dominant takeaway from India at Davos is clear. India has moved from being a growth story to a growth anchor. Meanwhile, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav represented India, showcasing the country's rise as a global tech and AI leader. Vaishnav led key discussions on India's semiconductor push, sovereign AI and digital infrastructure, positioning India as a trusted, reliable value chain partner. Listen in to various statements on India coming in.
There are 5 layers in the AI architecture: the application layer, the model layer, the chip layer, the infra layer, and the energy layer. We are working on all the 5 layers. On the application layer, we will probably be the biggest supplier of services to the world, understand the business of enterprise, understand the working of that enterprise, and provide that service using AI applications.
We're negotiating free trade pacts with India, ASEAN, Thailand, Philippines, and Mercosur.
You need a web of connections. And to miss out in that web some of the largest ones, United States, we already have that, China, India, Mercosur, European Union, that's a mistake. That's not managing your relationships properly. That makes you stronger, makes you more resilient.
IMF has revised the growth target for India. Now they have projected that India will grow at 7.3. So India will soon become the 3rd largest economy so far as GDP is concerned. India has lot of other advantages. I think the future is with India, and global community recognize that. And in the congressional session which we have attended, the kind of respect we get from the fellow panelists, it shows that everybody now recognize India as a powerhouse.
All right, let's also get some reactions from our notable guests who are joining us at this point in time. Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta, former diplomat, is here with us. Major General Dhruv Katoch, senior defense expert, director of the India Foundation, also joins us on the broadcast to discuss this. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. General Katoch, I'll begin with you. Well, like I said in my opening monologue as well, that India is no longer the observer. India is no longer, in fact, a country that seeks advice. We are in a position to, in fact, give advice now as well when it comes to growth stories in a number of areas. Respectfully, technology and defense has been, a key factor in telling the world what India is capable of. What are your observations from this Davos summit? And obviously, there are imperfections that India continues to talk about and deal with. But the fact of the matter is that, from what we saw a couple of decades ago, where countries, in Europe and other parts of the world lectured India on various themes, are in fact listening to us now.
Thank you, Vineet. Vineet, there are still many challenges which India has to overcome. But let us be straight about one thing. The progress which we have made over the last decade has been stupendous. In fact, ever since 2001, the progress over these last 25 years India has made has been stupendous. Now, it is not easy to to have come from where we are to being the 3rd or 4th largest economy today. And the way we are growing at 7%, we are the only big economy which is growing at that rate. In certain spheres, we have done remarkably well, especially when we are looking at defense and defense production, which we were not doing earlier for exports. We have gone onto that. We have jumped onto that bandwagon. And I think if we pursue with full dedication on this itself, we will become one of the major arms exporters within a decade from now. In many other fields, we are very, very competitive. And I think that is an advantage. We still have challenges, especially on AI. That I will grant. The minister has made a statement, yes, but we still have tremendous challenges, especially in the chip making, which I hope we over the next few years we can overcome. And there are many hurdles which we need to overcome, especially in our bureaucratic systems. There are tremendous delays still there, though a lot of work has taken place. But overall, I am very, very confident. The way India is growing, it is not simply government policies. It is the spirit behind the Indian people. You know, that positivism which I see all around, that has never been there. And that itself will carry India forward. And that is the message which I think Davos has brought out very clearly with the presence of Indian CEOs and many state governments and, of course, our own government reps. Beneath.
Ambassador Gauri Shankar, General Katoch is right that the imperfections can of course be dealt with at a later stage, but at an international level, as a country which has worked very hard to improve its global image, what do you have to say at the reception that India receives at Davos?
Good evening, Vineet. First of all, I would like to say with all my emphasis that during the last decade, India's stature in the international arena has tremendously increased. I have seen as a diplomat how we were, being or in fact begging sometimes for our, ministers visiting abroad and seeking time and seeking appointments. Today the story is reverse. Now the foreign visitors are begging to India, seeking appointments and seeking time from our ministers. So obviously the story has changed. Our diaspora has also done very well. But the most important factor which has been behind this story is the rise of Indian economy. Indian economy has consistently grown around the rate of 7% since 2000. And particularly during the last 10 years, the infrastructure spendings have been tremendous. The improvement in roads, airports, ports, and railways is absolutely remarkable and significant. Digital India has grown tremendously, it has been recognized. In fact, the electronics export have become third largest export, after machinery and with these auto parts. And there's one more item in between. But we are exporting electronics as in a large quantity. Our exports have also recorded almost 70-80% growth in the last 10 years. So these are remarkable achievements. And now the IMF has revised its estimates of India's growth to 7.3%. I was listening to Geeta Gopinathan this evening in a conference in Davos, and she was saying that yes, Indian achievements are great, but we need to further liberalize economy a little bit more, because she was talking about the bureaucratic hurdles in setting up new industries, and she says that this is an area where India can do better. And I also endorse that. I think we need to do some more liberalization. The four labor codes will already make things easier, but the state governments in some of our states are not as smooth as they should be. So that has to be straightened out at our end, and then Indian economy will grow. But we are almost the third, largest economy. I think by next year or 27, by 27 end, we should be the third largest economy in nominal terms. Per PPP terms, we are already third largest with a total, GDP of approximately 14 trillion
Yeah, but
US
that's a
dollars.
good point you brought up, sir. In fact, I want to pick General Katoch's brains on this as well. General Katoch, all these numbers and stats are absolutely fantastic. That India is the fourth largest economy, it'll be the third largest economy. But this benefit, this pride has to trickle down onto the common man, which is not happening. I'm sorry to ask this question to you, but it's important to address this elephant in the room.
Very frankly, when I meet with people all around, at the moment I'm in Gurgaon, I stay in the NCR. Gurgaon, Delhi is where I work. I've met with a lot of people. There is an optimism. I mean, that is absolutely undeniable. When I meet with people, they're raring to go. I think ultimately what people are looking at is that opportunity. And as has been mentioned by my co-panelists, the ambassador very correctly mentioned the bureaucratic delays. I think that is where really where the snags take place, where a great deal has been done. I'm not denying it as far as the liberalization process is concerned. But that is the one basic stumbling block we still have this on this particular issue, and I'm sure we can overcome it. I was hoping that I knew that when Prime Minister Modi in his first term, he won't be able to do many things. It was not possible. But still, we have got through a very major reform when we got through the GST. That, I think, was a tremendous achievement. Now there are many more reforms to go. But I think it is not so much looking into what the people of the people of India will deliver. I think the liberalization or reforms have to take place in India's bureaucracy. If we don't do that, it doesn't really matter what else we do. The stumbling blocks will still be there. So can we reform our bureaucracy? Can we make things much more simple so that the people of India can actually come out there and deliver? Everything does not have to be controlled by the government. The government should simply put out certain legal structures and then let the system take its course. I think if we can do that, a great deal will change. But that notwithstanding, a great deal has already changed. And when you look at even at the lowest level of society today, I think they are far better off than what they were a decade ago. Vineet.
All right, so I appreciate your optimism.